Yo, this is Art the Architect with More Than a Haircut podcast. And I got a special guest. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, slightly. You know, go on start. Go on start. I'm gonna show you how y'all did us. Go on
Yeah.
start.
All right. What's going on, guys? My name
No,
is.
you can't. No, you can't introduce yourself, bro. We not. I'm not even gonna have that, bro. So, it's my homeboy. Now introduce yourself seriously though.
Well, Art knows me as Marcus Lee, but at this point, I go by Clarence Lee. It's my first name, Clarence Lee Jr. Dr. Lee,
Yeah.
the persistence coach. Me and we go way back, man. So
Yeah.
we'll get into my story. We'll get into
Yeah, I
my
got
story.
you.
But I'm just happy to be on, man, and looking to add some value, and hope I can say some words, inspire some folks.
Oh yeah. So, man, first things first. Walking in the gym, man, this had to be like 93, 94. Walking in the gym, I see this light-skinned fella, but he got his whole family with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, man, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember if it was your little sister, your big sister. It was just like dad, mom. You know what I'm saying? It was a cool experience. Like what you remember about that East? You know what I'm saying? That East, that seventh grade year.
Yeah, I think it was eight. Was it eighth grade? It might be eighth, but yeah, no, it's funny that you mentioned that, man, because like a lot of people, I've been able to do some cool stuff in my life,
Yeah,
and
I can believe it.
a lot of people, they ask questions on how have you been able to, and man, the fact that you mentioned that my family was there to support me, man, it's unbelievable how much of I personally feel like it was an advantage that I had is that my support group, and I had some cheering fans. Everything that I did, even with basketball, the
Yeah,
medical school, the business school, to when I was in the Air Force, just having that support group, man, was huge for me.
yeah.
Because I was trying to do stuff that I had never really seen anybody do.
You know what was dope? Like I said, your folks was there. It also make me think about, I look back at my pops and my moms, you know what I'm saying? They were together too. So it's like, my pops is an accountant. So how he would teach, he would teach me by, hey man, here go a stack of checks. Go put all these junks in order. And it was just like, I'm not realizing that he's teaching me math. He's teaching me a structure outside of myself that every time I look at buildings and I see numbers, like how people look at the matrix.
Yep.
It's amazing to see that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I appreciate that because that gave me a sense of, all right, this dude got a different vibe about him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is yet, but it's already dope. It's a foundation. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't realize growing up that how important our parents played a role in our communities. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was my pops with us dealing in Boy Scout my first year. You know what I'm saying? He asked me and my brother, y'all want to play ball or y'all want to go do the Boy Scout? For some strange reason, we said we want to go to Boy Scout. We all out in the woods. You know what I'm saying? They got guns, shooting raccoons and all kinds of, man. I was like, shit crazy. But let me see, should
Now,
I?
it's funny that was actually my stepdad though, but
Okay, okay.
yeah, we'll talk more about that.
Yeah. No. I mean, we'll get into that too. So matter of fact, let's get into that. You know what I'm saying? Since we're there, because I got like 8 pages of questions.
Um, so you know what's crazy is by the time I had got to Memphis, man, just a little bit about my story. Before I got to Memphis, I had moved around a ton, man. So like I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri. So I was born in Missouri,
I
and
got
my
folks in
parents were
Kansas
together
too.
to, yeah, my folks. I'm from Missouri though.
Okay. Okay. Let me. Let me
I be telling people I'm from Kansas City. They be talking
yeah,
about Kansas.
I
I'm
already
like,
know.
hey, I'm from Missouri. But yeah, so
Show me
no,
steady.
but there we go,
Yeah.
So, my parents divorced when I was 5. Man, my dad left when I was like 5, and
Okay.
so I just had my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and we had like kind of like a traditional family. Like my dad worked, my mom didn't work, my mom stayed home,
Mm-hmm.
and so when he left, and my dad had a lot of demons, man. Like he was in the streets. he brought a lot of stuff home that I got to see. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you this because by the time I got to Memphis, I had already been through so much stuff.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so my dad took us through crazy, man. He, you know, beat my mom, and I got to see all that stuff in the house, and you know, drugs and prostitution, all that stuff. By the time I was 5, I got to see the hood, like all that happened in the hood. Like I saw it from 5, right?
Yeah.
So when he left, the money kind of went away.
Okay.
And it was just my mom. And so my mom, you know, I got to see her growing up, just take herself from like nothing, not even working, being just to stay at home, like a homemaker, home mom, and you know, put herself through nursing school. Okay. And you know, as we tried to come up, we moved a bunch. So I'm going somewhere with this, but we moved a ton. So like I was in Kansas City. I went to like 4 or 5 different schools. Okay. And then we moved to Atlanta. Yeah. I stayed in Arkansas for a while with my grandma when stuff got really crazy because my mom couldn't handle us. Then I moved to I was in Marietta, Georgia for a little bit right before we got to Memphis.
Yeah, I remember
that. For about 3 years. Got to Memphis. And so I was always kind of like the new kid, man. So I was always the new kid. I was always making new friends. And, you know, I was like, everywhere that I went, it was just a matter of me just being who I was and meeting people. And so when I got to Memphis, what I loved about Memphis, man, was that it was a very, I don't know, the culture of Memphis, like the people of Memphis are they're very Memphis. Yeah. Like, you know, when somebody is from Memphis.
From Memphis.
And so, I love that about Memphis. And you know, at the time, you know, we had Penny Hardaway. I always tell people, man, we had Penny Hardaway was bigger than George. Man, in Memphis, real. You got the pennies on. You probably got the Jordans, but you definitely got the pennies. There ain't no question about it. For sure. But when I got to Memphis, I felt like that was when I had kind of like the most growth as like in a mindset standpoint. Okay. I got to see a lot of stuff in Atlanta, but when I really got to Memphis, I really started to flourish a little bit.
Yeah, you know, like even with you telling it, I never heard that, but it's like you didn't really see that. You know what I'm saying? You didn't really see that in your actions, because I know like some children act out at school. You know what I'm saying? Just being that a lot of people don't, I guess people do understand, you know, small children have their way of doing things. They are little people, you know what I'm saying? It's just like a lot of people don't respect it. And, you know, during that time, I didn't see that come out of you. Nothing crazy, nothing negative. It was more or less like, I feel like we welcomed you as, you know what I'm saying, you were one of us. Because he was like, you was hooping. So it's like, it's only a matter of time to where, man, we gonna go kick it. We chilling, we vibing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we both should have made that team, bro. I'm just gonna say that just straight out. Oh, man. And we was killing their ass that day, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, you know, to this day, I feel like part of my fire got taken, just, you know what I'm saying, like missing out on those opportunities in. But at the same time, it didn't, because I feel like it shaped and molded a tough individual. You know what I'm saying? And not just individuals. I know a lot of dudes that were hooping from. Guess who else went to East? Penny.
Oh yeah, come on now. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know that though.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it, man. What is a physician, bro? that's all the bio, bro. Like, oh man.
So you know, a physician's a doctor, but I always try to distinguish myself, because like you get in the academia world, and you know, I went the academics route. Okay. I played basketball, and then went to college, played basketball, and then realized, hey,
where did you go?
So
where did you hoop
I went to Incarnate Word. It's in San Antonio, Texas.
You can go back to it. Like Charles Barkley, he said, they be eating all the
Yeah, exactly. University Incarnate Word, San Antonio, Texas. So, but I went to a smaller school first, but so you know, I started the academics, and I realized that, you know, I could basically compete in academics too, because I was always like a competitor. Like I always went hard, always trying to win, always wanted to win. Yeah. And so I'm sitting in the classroom, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look at this just as if we playing one-on-one basketball. If you sit next to me, I'm gonna try to beat you. Like we about to take a test. I'm gonna try to crush you on this test. Like this is like that's what I want to do.
That's smart.
And so as a result, you know, my mom was a nurse, so I said I got to see my mom work and take herself from us having nothing. I mean, like no furniture, no lights, no gas, like try to figure out how we're gonna eat. And I got to see what school could do for somebody. So she went to school, she became a nurse, and it was like we was moving on up, man. I mean, she bought a house, and I'm like, wow, okay, you could do something with this school, right? So I'm like, all right. And so in her world, my mom was always like, just do the best. You got to be at the top. And so in her world, she was like, my son gonna be a doctor, right? Okay. And so so I went to school. But the reason why I use physician, man, is because as I got up in academia, I just started seeing everybody was a doctor. Like everybody was calling themselves a doctor. And I'm like, but a doctor of what? I mean, like you got chiropractors, and no knock against anybody, but you got chiropractors calling themselves a doctor. You got psychologists calling themselves a doctor. You can have a PhD in anything, and everybody is a doctor somebody. Yeah. And so people started being confused when I told them I was a doctor. One, because they didn't really believe I was a doctor. Like, you know what I mean? I tell people, they see some young cat, some young black brother, I'm like, I'm a doctor. They was like, well, what, like, so, like, what you mean, doctor? Like a doctor, like a medical doctor. Like I see patients, I do surgery. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And so I started using the term physician just to kind of distinguish, take me out of that little doctor role, man, and let people know that I practice medicine as a physician.
So basically, it's almost niche wise. You got in a whole nother lane, and you went. You know what I'm saying? You took and drove that lane, even though you're still a doctor, but not saying you're a physician. They gave you more space to work in the room. So I dig that. And I see the next question though. How are you a celebrated author, dog? Celebrated author. Somebody said, well, my mom says persist. Yeah, I need the hat and the book. You hear me?
I get you. I will get it to you, man.
I see the fight along the way before the school. So was that in school too? You know what I'm saying? Like, was that in schoolwork when we were in high school, junior high?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely, man. And it's so funny because, and I got to tell this story about East, because when I was in Georgia, my mom sent me to a school out in Cobb County. Okay. And we didn't live out there where I went to the school. And so every day I got to go to school, I got to drive through this really nice neighborhood, and I'm looking around at all these nice houses. Yeah. You know, and a bunch of white folks, and I'm like, okay, cool. You know, like this is an option. You know what I mean? This is an option. I'm just driving through the neighborhood. So when we got ready to move to Memphis, we went through the same kind of looking at the school process, and we would look at all the schools, and you know, and East kind of bubbled up because at the time I was thinking I wanted to be an engineer. And East bubbled up as like I don't know if it was a magnet or they had an engineer program or something, right? Yeah. So I picked East because I was like, okay, I want to go to East. We were living in East Memphis, by the Mall of Memphis. Okay. It's probably not there anymore. But at the Mall of Memphis, I lived right around the corner from the Mall of Memphis. And so I picked East. I picked East for the engineering. Man, I got to East and I was like, they had the optional program, and I was like, I never saw this like a clear distinction of like, you got the optional program, and then it's like you had everybody else. Yeah. And I saw like a clear distinction, and I was a hooper too. Yeah. So it was like I was functioning in like two different worlds. It was like I had my academic friends who had no sort of athletic
ability at all.
Nothing. And then I was a hooper. Yeah. So for me, I was drawn more to the folks that hoop, like from the neighborhood. Like it's like, you know, I was drawn more to that because that's what I wanted to do. I knew I could do the school, but I was drawn to more the folks in the neighborhood. I wanted to hoop. And so, man, I just remember my 9th grade year, man, a friend of mine got shot. His name was Glenn. Man. And he got shot at the school, man. And I just saw so much stuff at East. I just remember, I always tell the story. I always remember like we would show up to the school real early. I don't know how the gym would be open. I don't know who would get in there and open the gym, but we would show up to the gym real early to hoop early in the morning, man.
Early as the world.
Way before school started, man. We just wake up, go hoop 7, 6, and we was in there. And I just remember, dude, that people we standing outside, you waiting, okay, I got the next down.
Yeah.
And I just remember cats just used to be pulling their guns out when they was getting ready to play.
Yeah.
Like they just had their pistols. They just be like, hey, I'm about to hoop. And they just be, hold this. Yeah. And I had never seen that, man.
Yeah.
I had never seen it.
That's real though.
I had never seen it. And I was like, and then Glenn got shot, and I told my mom, I said, I gotta get out of here. Yeah. I was like, I know that if I don't get out of here, something bad is gonna happen, because I was on a trajectory, but it was like I was surrounded by a lot of craziness, man, and that's what had me end up leaving East, man. But when I started writing books, to your question, when I started writing books, man, I wanted to write about all of the things that I saw, because when people meet me now and they see my mindset, I always try to remind them, like I've been through some stuff, and so you catching me at a level, in my energy level, you catching me at a different. It took a lot to get this where I'm at right now, like in the mindset that I have. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that I tell in my books, man. I tell a lot about my stories and how I formed, most of my mindset.
Yeah, what made me think about that is I started knowing Glenn, Nardo, Cardo, and all of them in like 6th grade. Yeah. I went to summer camp. You know what I'm saying? And I met Glenn there. Glenn was one of the homies at the summer camp. So it was like that was my precursor to going to East. And then when I went to East, it was just like, man, it's a family affair. But I feel you on like I was in the engineering program too, but it was like it wasn't what I was used to as far as like, man, you go from, like you said, the hoopers, you go from the hood, you go from engineering, the optional program, then they got the I don't know if it was a medical program too or something like that. But we had, you know what I'm saying, we had that vibe too. So
I want to throw my boys Tink and Fred in there too, man.
Yeah.
Those I was like, man,
yeah. I don't know if you remember Daniel, Sean.
I remember Dan, man. I remember all of it.
Sean is my brother-in-law now, dog.
Oh, that's love. That's love. But so, that was a crew, man. Those are the guys that actually all those cats that you named when I got to East. Yeah. Those are the guys I wanted to kick it with. Those are the hoopers, man. Those are the guys that was getting it. So I was trying to hang out with them.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So international speaker.
Yeah, man. So I started internationally is when I joined the military, man.
Okay. Open up.
My dad was oh my gosh. So my dad was a Marine, so I got to see a little bit of the edge that the military gave you, and I wanted it. Mm-hmm. I just saw a clear distinction between my dad and his siblings. And from a military standpoint, like he was still doing his craziness, but there was certain military-ish things about him that I really liked. Mm-hmm. I thought he had an edge, so I was like, okay, I wanted to. And so I joined the Air Force right before I started medical school.
Okay.
And I was able to travel all over, man. I went all over the world, man. So I feel like every young Black brother needs to go travel, man. I feel like that's like the first education number one. Even before you go to school, I feel like you need to just see the world, man. And
that's a goal. That's a goal of mine.
I learned so much stuff just being in other countries and dealing with other people. And to be quite honest, I wasn't Black when I went to other countries. I was an American.
Yeah,
I was an American.
But that's the underlying tone and thought process though. They understand something totally different than we understand. You know what I'm saying? To where it's just like when you talk about traveling, I remember my parents distinctly. We would go on a road like every summer. We were going somewhere, so it took me out of the mind frame of the 4 walls that we was around.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we can be from the hood, but that don't mean like you got to be stuck in this place where all you know is, I'm gonna go to the corner store. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to my partner house. We got the the fire department, and the police that went. It was more than just that them four corners. So like that did open my mind up. So again, that's that whole thing of the parents, man. Like they helped lay a foundation and a vision of where I hadn't been able to travel outside the country. My brother has, you know what I'm saying? My mom has, my dad has. I don't know if my sister has, but that it sounded like they gave you a good opportunity, man, to see some different stuff.
It was huge, and I started once I got talk about the speaking, man, because I've been able to do a lot of stuff, and it's just been crazy, but just I started speaking, basically telling my story like when I became an intern after medical school. So I finished medical school. I'm a doctor. I'm going into my residency program to train in surgery because I wanted to do surgery initially. And so I get there, and I'm the only brother in the entire general surgery program. So it's 5 years of residence, and I think it was 5 or 6 in every class, and I was the only black dude. And it was a military program too. So I was like, what? I was like, why? Because I knew my story. I knew where I had been from. I knew everything that I had been through. And I was just trying to ask myself, like, why weren't there other black dudes doing what I was doing, right? So I was like, I need to start sharing my story. And so at the time I was in San Antonio, and I was like, yo, where's the worst part of town? Like, where's the most hood school? Like, I'm about to go over there and I'll start doing work. So I started a mentoring program there, and kind of word got around. I started working with the basketball team.
Yeah.
With the boys basketball team, I started working with them, and words kind of got around, and I started getting opportunities to speak. And, I kept speaking, and ended up, building a speaking business, man. Now I go and travel, and I speak at these universities and schools and all over the place. Even got to speak for the military, and that's when the international piece got in. I even got to do talks all over the world, man. Just sharing my gift and telling my story.
Man, that's crazy. I got keep going though. It's some things of what you're saying, some things that I'm working on.
Yeah, I think I mean at this point I would say I think one of the things that has helped me succeed is that in every situation that I've had, I've tried to make the most out of every opportunity. So and I think young people, because my passion is for young folks and folks our age, like I feel like every opportunity that we get, like there's gold in it, but we gotta see it. You know what I mean? Because if you see it, you might get distracted if something doesn't go exactly your way. So like when I was in college, like I didn't perform how I wanted to perform on a basketball court, and I was real frustrated in my basketball career. And I could have easily just went down this hole of like, I'm not hooping, I'm not gonna go to the pros, I'm not gonna do this, and I could have just went into this spiral
down.
Instead of spiral down and not realizing that I'm at a university. I got people, I got connections. I'm an athlete. Like everybody knows me on campus. Like I can go and set meetings up with the vice president, and this academic could be a catapult for me. Like you know what I mean? It could be a foundation for me. So along the way, like I feel like everything that I did, I tried to look for the opportunities where I was at, even if everything wasn't perfect, and so I think that's what has opened a lot of doors for me to be able to do stuff, was just kind of looking for opportunity.
No, that's real. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Do you remember the wrestler Reggie B. Fine?
No, go ahead.
Name or something. Well, his son goes to East 2, or went to East 2 with us. I don't know his name. His name was Tarek.
But Tarek, I remember Tarek. Yeah.
All right, Tarek. That's my homeboy's brother, who was calling our high school games. Reggie Jr. He's a comedian now. You know what I'm saying? He called a game when we were at White Station in Germantown, which was crazy. That's how he remembered me. And then we got to college, and he was just like, "Man, I remember you." I was like, "Man, we'll talk about that, bro." But what you're saying is something that I was looking to set up with his brother, with Tarek, to actually start with that school, talking to the boys, you know what I'm saying, to the students. We're going to the other schools, talking to the students, because it's to me, it's so vital to communicate with them because we've been through the same doors, some of the same situations, not knowing that all they need is somebody to listen to them, to give them a formula, to talk to them, even to a point of my podcast started from conversating with people sitting in my chair, where it's just like, if I introduce you to Bitcoin and then you go into the stock market, or you find some financial literacy, or you tell me some up-to-date information that's going on around the world, oh man, I pretty much done my job, because you can tell me about what's going on bad or negative. You can tell me that
Yep.
any day. But now if you telling me, hey man, I just made a play where I made $1,000 legally in the market, and now you telling me about some more information and I ain't including what I'm doing, oh man, it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
Absolutely, man. What I was thinking when you were talking was that, like, I think a lot of our folks, man, because this has just been my experience. I feel like it's important to share your stories with the young folks. Share your story with everybody, man, because people, I meet people right now, and that's why I wanted to come in on the podcast with you, man, because I don't get to see a lot of people like who I grew up with, you know, because like I'm chasing my dream, I got family, I'm doing my thing, but I always feel connected to folks that I knew from way back, because when I meet people now, like they see me as a successful person. They don't necessarily connect me to my story.
You know, they're not saying,
you know,
I don't want to be like Mike. I want to be like Mark. I want to be like Clarence.
Come on, man.
No, for real. No, seriously though, like they seeing the success of what you had to work in the gym to do. The gym don't necessarily mean you on the court. You know what I'm saying? Like you took that same energy, that same drive, the same persistence, and said, all right, let me add it to academia. Let me add it to education. Let me add it to what's going on, because now, like you said, man, like people need motivation. Why can't it be from somebody that look like them?
Oh, I agree 100%. And that everywhere I go, I try to share my struggles, man, like the things that I went through, because I can read my bio and be like, oh, okay, I've been able to, here's a win.
It's the work.
I do this. And I'm appreciative of all those opportunities, but I feel like my real story is held in my come up and where I've come from. You know what I mean? And things I've been through and the things that I've seen.
Yeah.
Because the passions that I have right now come from all of the stories that we've been talking about. Like all of the passions that I have come from all of that. Yeah. And so when I started doing the work in the school with the kids, like my initial thing was that I wanted the kids to see that I was them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to see that dude, we exactly the same. So if there's anything, and this is what I really want to say, if there was anything, when somebody looks at me, if there's anything that you think in your brain that separates me from you, that's a lie. That is a trick. That is a trick. That's a trick of Satan. That's a trick in your mind, man, because then it's gonna separate you from my success or from my lifestyle, and it's gonna separate you like that's not yours, but it is. Mm-hmm. And that's why every time I go and speak, it is. You're exactly the same. Yeah. So I know when I win, if I go and I speak, and a kid comes up to me and says, "Man, you just like me." Now I know I won. I got you.
You planted your seed. Yeah.
Right.
Cause that, like, I'm gonna take you back, and we're gonna go forward. But we started this, and we're gonna finish this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I remember when that video came out, A-Ball MJG.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you, it's a triple threat of Marcus's for me. It's my brother, it's you, and it's Marcus Maples.
Marcus Maples, come on.
You know what I'm saying? He grew up in my neighborhood.
Yep.
In elementary, you know what I'm saying? So it's like to see y'all was in the video, I felt like I succeeded. I'm like, man, hey, check out my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? And no, it was a quick 1-2. Well, it was like
I was in the video though.
My dog in the video though. Yeah.
Man, come on.
How was that experience, man? You know what I'm saying? Just
that was, I felt like I said, when I was in Memphis at the time, I felt that I was in a special place, you
Yeah.
know, because I had moved from Missouri and I was in Arkansas and in Georgia, and then I
Yeah.
got to Memphis, and Memphis, it just felt like they knew who they were. Like if you're from Memphis, they just felt like everybody that I met, they knew who they were. And so then I started looking around. I'm like, wow, I got 8-Ball MJG. I already had heard about them in Atlanta. Like, wow, they're from Memphis. And you got Penny Hardaway. I'm like, wow, they're just from Memphis. You know, and I'm like, I'm in Memphis, you know. And so, and at the time, Penny was like, I mean, oh my God.
He is our MJ. He is our MJ. He
homie had the doll, and I was like, what? So, but to you know, to get the, I can't even remember how, but yeah, to be able to be in that video, man, I just thought it was awesome. You know, I think we left school and we was like, hey, where the park at? Hey, we gonna be here. Look, yeah, we about to be in this video. Yeah. Oh, come on, man, that was a great experience. I can't remember the last time I was Googling online trying to find the thing.
Man, I go and watch videos all the time, man. Just from being in the hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like hip hop it shaped our lives. Like I tell folks, like, if it wasn't for my cousin introducing me to an Outkast tape, and the kids be like, man, what the hell is a tape?
Right.
It'd be like,
get your little pencil.
Look,
You better get your pencil and roll that back through that. You better straighten it out.
Hey, we used to record the radio shows and everything, bro. Hey, you remember Stan Bell too?
Yeah.
It's the roll call. So the elephant in the room, man. The situation that's going on with George Floyd. You know, it affects us in so many different ways, and it's still the same conversation about, like, we've been having to deal with these things so long, from the Arbery situation to the sister that got killed in her home. You know what I'm saying? Recently. So it's like, it's not even it's not even a question. It's just more or less like, how does this situation impact you, your family, the community? Because it's already a situation with the COVID-19 aspect. Like, how is the situation with the elephant in the room with George Floyd being killed? Like, how is it impacting your thought process and you as a so-called black male in America, man?
I'm gonna keep it, man. I might go left on this with you, but I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it. And
it's you, man.
This. So, you know, racism. I grew up. I mean,
come on,
South, Midwest, all the time, everywhere that I went. I remember very distinctly my dad having conversations with me about, you know, how to deal with police and hey, that it was a life or death situation. And from the time I was really, really young, I feared interactions with the police because I knew I could die. And so that's how I viewed every situation with a police officer. My heart rate went up. I was on edge, and I was like, at any point this could pop off to this dude shooting me. Like, I was like, every situation. And so I grew up thinking that, and you know, you just fight through that. But I'm gonna tell you right now what I think the answer to all of this is. I'm gonna tell you right now, and people, you know, a lot of people don't like when I say this, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you got racism and then you got classism. Yeah. Okay, so you got people looking at your race, but then they also looking at your class. And I feel like us black folks, we have to get the class. We gotta get up to, I'm talking about money, man. So now the color is green. The color is green, bro. And so, you know, people look.
I'm only gonna add to the plate of what you're saying. That's all I'm gonna say.
People, especially, you know, black folks might be, oh, you're all about the money and you're trying to get the money, and it's bigger than that. Listen, green is the new color now. So how does it affect me and my family? I make green. So the neighborhoods we dealing with, the situations that I tell people, I'm like, you don't see this happening in Beverly Hills, because the young black males they see in Beverly Hills, he might mess around and be Kevin Hart's son. The cops already know that because they in the same class. They know what class is there. But if they see your race and they connect you with a lower class, that's racism on top of classism. And now it's like, oh, you know, he less than me, right? So for me, my approach has been, look, I'm changing my color to green because green talk everywhere that I go.
Mm-hmm.
Green talk everywhere I go. So when I walk up into a place, you understand that the color is green is in my pocket. You treat me a whole different way. And that's been my experience. So that green now, how it comes to affect my family, that green now goes everywhere my family go.
Yeah.
Everywhere my kids go
Yeah.
is green. My kids go to private school. I'm not playing with you. It's green, right? So you look, where I live is green. So everybody that's dealing with me and my family right now is seeing the color green. And so, you know, and then folks, you know, with me, I get it all, man. So they, you know, folks,
I know, but I'm
you
saying
light
like,
skin, and they nicer to you because you light skin, and your kids, they got the curly hair, so they don't see. But look, I think it's green, man. Our people get our money right.
And I know you've been through hell and high water, just like I have in Memphis, you know what I'm saying? And then now seeing the world, and it's kind of like, I'm pretty sure on the international scale, they treated you totally different than they did.
Absolutely.
A lot here. But it's like at the same time, what I wanted to add was, it was a video I was up early this morning. It's a video by this brother named BNX. And what he said the same thing about the green being a situation or the paper being a situation. Why? Because a revolutionary shouldn't die without being able to take care of his family, his or her family. So he was saying like, okay, and he studies under Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad, which I'm not knocking anybody's religion. I ain't. That's not where I'm at. What I'm looking at is with what he said about, if we have a security company and this so-called black men that's risking their lives for the security company, why can't he get paid to protect the neighborhood? And in that way, that be a way in which he's providing for his family. His baby ain't got to go hungry. Ain't got to go without what he or she needs. Wife is taken care of. Even if she's a doctor, dentist, or whatever, even if she's a stay-at-home mom, you know what I'm saying? It's taken care of. Why, you know, so it's I agree on that aspect of the money. Because I'm like, you gotta be able to function. Because the world is physical and it's in the digital now. So it's a lot of games being played. It's a lot of things going on. I feel like behind closed doors that communication is not always going on, but we see what's going on, and it's always been here, bro.
Absolutely, and I think
always had.
When you come out of that class, so that's why I want our people to also look at class, because when you come out of because the oppression is multiple, right? It's not only that you black and all of these, okay, here are the stereotypes that come with you being a black male, right? So then that pushes you down.
Yeah.
Now also, you ain't got no money, right? So not only did I just call you black and everything that black comes with being black, now I also get to call you poor. So now coming up how I came up, I'm a black male, I'm poor, bro. I was thinking I wasn't gonna make it till 18, bro.
No,
like I remember
but again,
that was something that they put in my brain,
but
bro.
That's what I tell boys in the hood. That's why I tell people, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I remember a time where it's like, hey man, we not even gonna see 25, let alone 18, let alone 19. You know what I mean? With dealing with what we had to deal with. Then it's like, I phrased this last night. Martin Luther King. Well, my grandmother, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X didn't see past 39. So just imagine, I'm 39 now. So imagine me being able to see 40 is you know what I'm saying? It's a feat. It's crossing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, the mindset, and so you look at because the oppression comes in a lot of different ways. But you know, right now where I'm at, I am like on the soapbox of having our people get our money together, because every grievance that is, because I'm always, like I said, everywhere I went, I'm always looking for the opportunity. I knew mess was gonna be there. I knew racism was gonna be there. I knew that was gonna happen, but I'm looking for the opportunity. I'm trying to make moves. I'm trying to make moves because I'm trying to win. Right? I'm not gonna be the person sitting over in the corner like all the white men trying to hold me down. Like that's not. That was never me. It's not happening. So I'm like, okay, let me make my moves. And so now I'm teaching, and every single time I'm gonna be able to say this, I'm gonna say it. If you got a grievance with the world, if you got a grievance with the USA, if you got a grievance, meaning somebody has did you wrong, now I'm about to start asking black folks, do you have your money right? So if you come to me and say, oh, the banker didn't give me the loan because or they discriminated. What? Get your money right. Why you gotta go get the loan? Well, all these other folks are able to go and get the loan, and that's worse for me. I understand that. We know that. But let's get your money right. Okay, so if you come to me and say, oh, they didn't give me the promotion because this other white person was in there, they didn't give me the promotion. First thing I'm gonna ask you, if you got your money right, why are you working for somebody else?
That, like
so for me, it's gonna go right back to green, because as soon as we as a people bubble up, we get our wealth within our families, generation wealth. A lot of these grievances, a lot of this stuff is it's gonna be irrelevant. It's gonna be irrelevant because I'm not gonna be out in the street dealing with people with these mindsets. And so I tell people, and like I said, I'm glad you asked this question, because look, I'm fine with being controversial about this stuff, because like I think with the George Floyd situation, you got two problems happening. You got a leadership, so a municipality or like a government leadership that's leading an area that is primarily black, right? But if you look at who's in the leadership, it doesn't mirror the people in the community. So then now I got people in leadership that don't look like the people in the community. Now, who gets the promotions to police chief? Who gets these opportunities to be in these jobs, these government jobs, right? These city jobs? Who gets these opportunities? Well, my boy gonna get that opportunity. He just happened to look like me because we grew up together. So now, not only do you have the leadership that's white, now you got the police chief. Now you got all these other people, and so now you got a population that is governing and policing a population that they don't even feel connected to. That's not even me. That's not the same. He's not my family. He's not my friend. I didn't go to school with him. We don't have connections. So now you have people governing another people that they don't even feel connected to. So I feel that the answer is so easy in my brain. The people are like, oh, it's not supposed to be that way.
But this the thing though, like Tupac is somebody that I studied, and he always said, you can't go to war unless you got your money right. You know what I'm saying? In itself, that don't mean necessarily I'm finna go bang, you know what I mean? But it's like, at the same time, you can't go to war unless you got your money right. It ain't no different than one of my homeboys, Derek Grace, where he says, unlearn and relearn. You know what I mean? So he's taking the approach of financial literacy. He's taking the approach of investing in the gold and in the silver. He got tattoos everywhere, bro. He teaching his children about guns and all kinds of stuff, bro. He not playing a victim role. And it's a lot of cats, same way, just like that. You know what I mean? And I want to say something. I want to get into like, what does financial literacy do for you? Mean to you? But before I get into that, I feel like, say for instance, the situation where I just saw a video where it was a dude, it was a cop from St. Paul knocking out the windows of the AutoZone that's kind of causing stuff to be burnt up and vandalized, right? What if the same thing happened at the police station? Where I thought about this. Maybe the evidence or whatever is going on for George Floyd when in the station. But what if what they had going on in previous cases, in prior cases that happened before? What if it was some corrupt things that was going on where they had paper files, not digital files? What if that was the reason for it to being destroyed? But that's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are some of my direct questions. Because
for sure.
Because just like what you saying, if and in fact these things are going on, the attack to me should be the insurance bond as an officer, because they have to hold an oath as an officer, but they also have an insurance bond as an officer. Like you said, money. If you hit them where it hurts, where it's in their pockets, or you make them bleed, they understand that shit. Excuse my French, but they understand it. You know what I mean? And if you hit that insurance bond, you can't work no goddamn where.
Right.
You can't drive out here with no insurance. Just like the Target got vandalized, they got insurance. They're gonna be able to rebuild it.
Yep, for sure.
So, like, what does financial literacy look like to you, bro?
So, I think that, you know, I say unfortunately, but you know, fortunately too, because when struggle comes, you know, it builds strength, right? So I don't always look at every plot or plight that, you know, we have to go through as a bad thing, but I feel like we as a people, we have to own. And so I talk about this. I went and gave a talk up at Sac State for like their MLK
That's that Black Wall Street talk. That's that Black Wall Street talk. Now,
so it was, you know, and I said the true freedom is in ownership. And we don't always think from an ownership perspective. We don't always follow the ownership, but there's people that have built wealth that they think ownership. And so, you know, even with our dollars in the companies that we support. So I love what you're talking about as far as like, hey, you if you hit that money, it's a little different. It's a little different for you. So for me, financial literacy starts with understanding that you can own, and understanding that whoever owns in every place that you spend your money, whoever owns, that's who you're really supporting. Yep. So if you don't think ownership, you don't really know who you're actually supporting, because you don't know who you're giving your dollars to. And so a lot of us, you know, we might think, well, who got the best deal? Where's the cheapest? You know, you might look for the bottom, you know what I mean? And okay, I'm gonna go there because this is what I gotta do. I gotta be resourceful, and I gotta get the most out of my money and stuff like that. And the reverse, what's crazy about it is that you end up supporting the very causes, right? You might, okay, what political party is this person a part of? Okay, who's the owner of this? What initiatives do they support? That money bubble all the way up to the top. And so for us, from a financial literacy, I think it starts with ownership. So own as much as you can. You got to own everything. And then if you don't own, understand who does own, so at least you know who you're supporting with your money. But we're so blind. It's like a bottom feeding like mentality that I grew up with, man. And it was just like, I'm so busy with my head down. I'm so busy with my head down, trying to survive, trying to eat, trying to stay alive. Listen to me, man. This is where a lot of our genius, this is where all our genius goes. Right in the hood, on the streets, I'm trying to survive. I gotta use all my genius, all my brain thought to survive where I'm at, because these are the challenges that I have to use my problem solving skills against. Now, as soon as you liberate someone out of poverty, as soon as you liberate them, now I can hold my head up, I can look around, and because I'm taken care of, follow me, because I got my needs are met. Because my needs are met, now I can look around and be like, you know, I should do something about that. You see, wow, that's okay. That probably, let me see if I can get some of my people. We can do something about this. All right, you know, these kids right here need a little bit of help. You know what I mean? Now it's like my whole problem solving is at another level.
Yeah,
and so for us,
that's cool.
A lot of our genius just gets lost because, you know, we don't own and we don't understand that we can't own.
So it's kind of like, I don't know if I don't think it's playing devil's advocate. Like I'm on some information now that's saying like, own nothing and control everything. But it's also saying like, it's still saying ownership. Don't get it twisted. But it's just more or less like, I dig and I understand what you're saying. I value what you're saying. It's like, again, I'm not taking away. I feel like I'm adding to the plate when I say I own nothing and control everything, because I don't think we understand the spirit that we possess and what we do to manifest and bring about money too. You know what I'm saying? When you speak on financial literacy, I feel like even what you're saying, when you go in and you talk to the kids, to the youth, or to the so-called black males, really to anybody, when you look at them and you tell them they're an asset or they can be a liability, I also look at that as financial literacy, meaning this move that you're about to make, man, you can be an asset. This can be an asset to you, but you also got to understand you can be liable, and you got to be liable for this move you are about to make. Well, you probably about to risk your life and do 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Or you can go to barber school. You can go be a surgeon. You know what I'm saying? You can go be a plumber. You can go be an electrician. Yeah, it's gonna be hard up front. My financial literacy came from fucking up. But at the same time, it's like it didn't, because the roots are, here go the checks, put them in order. Here go rich dad, poor dad. I didn't have a clue. I know my pops had a clue, but he found a way in which, here go a book, man. Here go a book of information. Here go a wealth of knowledge. You may not get it right now. You may see it running a restaurant, but you will understand. Like, I understood the intern job of working for free and how they help.
Right.
And it's just like, man, that's, you know, that financial literacy made me think about a book from my homeboy. He got when 444 came out. When Jay was like, financial freedom, my only hope. Fuck living rich and dying broke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fuck getting rich and dying broke. So my homeboy is Jeremiah Brown, and he came out with a book. You know what I'm saying? It then, I'm not gonna say it changed the way, because I feel like all of these things led to me being molded and understanding financial literacy from the bankruptcy that happened in 1929, or between 1929 and 33 with the Great Depression. I remember having conversations with my grandfather, him being born around that time, that he remember, you know what I'm saying? He remembered at the time, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you go about turning money into money? I saw that as a point. I was listening to you live. Like, and you don't have to go in depth, but like, how ways you learn, there it is. How did you learn to turn money into money? And what did you mean by that? Was it from like a formula standpoint, or was it just like
it's a mindset. So it's for me, when I realized that, and people might disagree, but when I realized that God blessed me with money so that I could turn that money into more money, that's the reason for the actual blessing. When I realized that, it changed the whole way that I saw my finances. Because at first, you grow up with nothing, and I'm gonna tell you, look, just so you get the back. You grow up with nothing. I don't have anything. So my whole life, all I'm thinking is the reason why I don't have it is because I don't have the money. So we go into a store and I say, Ma, I want them J's. She tell me you can't afford it because we don't have the money. The answer in my mind is get the money, then I can get whatever I want. That's the answer, right? Never did anyone ever tell me, let's see what you can do with the $200. If the whole intention of you having $200 is because you can turn that 200 into another 200, I wouldn't even have been thinking about getting Jordans when I was thinking about it. So when I got to, you know, a little bit of age and a little bit more of influence, and I see the military, and I start getting into budgeting, and then I get out into the real world of medicine, and I start managing the clinic, and I start seeing all this money exchanging around. I am like, your freedom lies in your ability to create some sort of ecosystem that you put cash in and it makes cash out for you. Listen, You put cash in, it pulls cash out for you.
Yeah.
Don't have nothing to do with you going somewhere. Don't have nothing to do with you clocking and hitting the clock.
Nope.
Don't have nothing to do with none of that. So it's a mindset, right? So if I can get you, that's why I'm gonna be driving this freaking green, because as soon as we get our money right, we're gonna see a lot of stuff change. So as soon as I can get you to every dollar that you get, you say to yourself, how can this dollar turn into another dollar?
Yeah.
If you do that with every dollar that you get, now I'm looking at, okay, maybe I can invest in a business. Okay, maybe I can, maybe I can buy a bond, or maybe I can buy stock, or maybe I can, use this money that I have as an investment into some sort of enterprise. Now I'm thinking like that, opposed to what can I get? What can I buy? What kind of car can I shine with? What kind of clothes can I look fresh with? What kind of house can I buy so people are impressed with? What kind of what? I'm not even on that.
Yeah.
I'm like, let every dollar you get, turn that down to a dollar. So it's more of a mindset. So it's less tactics. It's less about the tactics, because people make money all kind of ways.
Yeah, they do.
That's why people are always like, go ahead.
No, it's so as I was sitting here thinking, I was like, what's the word? What's the word? It's like going back to the owning nothing, controlling everything, and ownership too at the same time. Like Black Wall Street was ownership. Intellectual property. Not only intellectual property, it was it's a sister named Ashley Fox from Philly. My brother introduced me to her, right?
I'm familiar with her work. She does great work.
Worked on Wall Street, right? So I'm sitting here and I got an album out, right? So I got a song called God Vision. It's a song by itself that right now people can play it while we chilling, right? So the other aspect is my grandmother, who I brought up, that passed when she was 39. She told my dad and them, or not my dad, my uncles and them, she said, one day you're going to be able to press a button and travel all the way around the world. To me, that's the internet. That's what I'm living what she was speaking in spirit and form, right? So I'm saying God vision because even behind me on the wall, it's a painting that says God vision, right? So taking that into account, I started writing a book because of Ashley Fox and what she said. She had a video about Nike. I knew about this young dude while he was in high school. His mom was going through financial hardships, going in debt. But she said, one thing I did, I started teaching my son about the stock market. He went in high school playing ball, like you talked about that $200. He invested in the Nike. So as he was investing in Nike and going playing ball, in high school, he making money. But just imagine this being introduced where Ashley says, for Christmas, instead of buying just the Jordans, or if you go buy your child some Jordans, why don't you buy stock in Nike? Light bulb automatically went off. It was just like, it was a song going off. You know what I'm saying? My son, his birthday came up. Hey, Dad, I want some Jordans. I was like, well, nigga, I'm not finna buy you no motherfuckers. But then I thought about, my parents were thinking in that manner. But my pops put me on the Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
I'm listening to Gary V. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm listening to Ashley, and it's like, I'm not gonna tell him what he can't do. I'm gonna tell him like, all right, this is what you gotta do. You gotta come to the shop and you gotta figure out how you gonna make some money in order to get the Nike stock. Not buy the Jordan shoes. I'm gonna buy you the Jordan shoes for your birthday. But you're gonna have to come in here and you're gonna have to pay me, just give me $30 towards the Nike stock. I go sell off shares of stock that I have. And I think it was like I had made a big deal off of it was a cannabis company. They was talking about dementia, medicine for dementia. My grandmother has dementia. I made a play where I'm like, I had 60 shares. I made money back from a share that went from 16 cents to $16. So now I got a little money to say, okay, I got an Apple phone. Let me invest in an app. Playing Monopoly, Greenhouse Red Hotel, use their formula. So going back to my son, it's like, all right, son, You bring me back, I think I was like $20 or $30. He brought it back to me after sweeping the floor because he figured out, all right, if I sweep, a few people give me some money, Dad gonna give me some money too. So now he owns a share of Nike stock. My daughter owns a share of Microsoft and plenty of others. But that's just like the start of the lessons of financial literacy. And now he'll ask me about it. You know what I mean? So it's like I dig what you're saying when it comes to the financial literacy, man. It's
one of the best books I've read. So I it's called The Intelligent Investor. Rich Dad Poor Dad is a great book. But there's another one.
I think I got that. It came out in the 90s.
Yeah. So I was like, when I first started, I was like, let me just watch some interviews of like Warren Buffett and see what he says. And, you know, and that was one of the books that he always recommended, Intelligent Investor. So I think that helped me. Honestly, I went to business school after medical school because I'm like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a business mind. Anyway. I don't think that me hitting a clock and billing and seeing patients for a company is going to lead to the generational wealth that I want. Yeah. And so I said, well, I'm going to go to business school because, and man, I maybe I might not talk about that, but you know, look, a lot of this pipeline, dude, look, man, I got to soapbox about this, bro.
No, we gonna do another deal on just that. On like
we got to, because they teach doctors. They don't teach doctors how to make money, man. They teach doctors how to be employees.
Man, I'm trying to get look, I want to get just like Nike got the shoe for the doctors. I'm a barber, man. I need some shoes. Nike or who is this? Puma, Reebok. What's up, Fila?
Yeah.
I need some. Come on, man.
Yeah, so I think, that book helped me even more than business school understand the financial statements and how to read and how to value a company and how to see if it's a good value buy. Intelligent Investor is a great book.
Yeah, I gotta add that to my, what they say, repertoire. I feel like Jay was off of that. Dynamite. I'm gonna go back now. A degree in medicine. Biology and business, bro. How the hell did you do that? How the hell was it? It's hey, what my mom says, persist. I see, motherfucker.
Yeah. So, you know, I got the idea to become a physician. My mom introduced me to a few mentors early in life. So, you know, when she was going through nursing school, I got to see her. She got to the hospital. She found some brothers, you know, in the hospital that, you know, looked like me and was like, hey, can you hang out with my son? And so, you know, I started hanging out with surgeons, you know, brothers that was doing this, you know, back in the early 90s, and they started taking me under their wing. Hey, this is what you need to do to make it happen. And so the medicine was always there, but I tell the story, man, it took me 5 years to get into medical school. I had to apply over 500 times. So I applied to every medical school for 5 years straight until I got a yes. And a lot of people, you know, hear that story and how did I continue to do it? And that's why I'm so big on persistence, man, because like every single thing, same thing with basketball, man. I feel like people understand it. I started out playing basketball. I had no skill, none. And then all I did was just go to the court every day and shoot. And so, you know, through basketball, I saw that all I had to do was work hard and I would gain a skill. And now I could transform what somebody called me when it was on the court. Yeah. Like first you might be slaw. Like, okay, that dude's slaw. Don't even worry about it. Then they go, wait a second.
Slaw as hell, man.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute, bro.
I was slaw last summer. Yeah. But at this point, you know,
you can't stop me, bro.
You about to be sitting down. Yeah. So that was the first beginning of learning that just I could turn myself into something. And so, you know, when I was trying to get into medical school, man, like I just kept getting no. And, you know, I was like, the failure, like I felt like they were just, you know, they were turning down my application. And this is what I teach. I say objectify the failures in your life. You know, don't call yourself a failure. Objectify. So, okay, what did they really reject? They rejected the application. I can change the application. No one on that admissions committee actually knew me, right? They didn't know me. They knew my application. I could change the GPA, the statement, all that stuff. So yeah, man. So I finally got the opportunity to get into medical school, and I went to Philadelphia, and man, that was a great experience. But then, once I got out,
Yeah.
and I started practicing medicine,
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that, like, medical school taught me to be a really good physician, meaning, like, don't kill anybody, know how to make a great diagnosis, know how to use the right drugs, practice safe. But it didn't teach me anything about the healthcare system, the healthcare industry. I didn't know anything about the business side.
Yeah.
And in many cases,
Most people don't.
and the atmosphere was more of like, we're in this for altruistic reasons. Like, I'm in medicine because I want to help people, I want to change lives. Yes, but at the same time, I want to make a living for my family too. So you can't take the business knowledge out of the medical school, and that's what they do now. And so then after medical school, I was like, man, I got to go to business school because I need to learn about business. I need to learn how to start a business, how to value a business, how to, like, I need to learn these things, how to structure a business. So then I went to business school after that, man. And so, at this point, I'm still seeing patients for a large organization right now. And I'm getting ready to go off and start my own healthcare organization, man. Yeah, start my own chain of urgent cares, man. That's my next thing.
No, that's
For 21.
I had a cousin that just asked about that, the healthcare side and like the hospitals, where the so-called black hospitals at. Where is that infrastructure? So I preach that to the youngins that I'm around or that I'm in contact with. I'm like, look, if you're gonna go to school, like I got one going to school for to be an engineer at MTSU. So I told him, like, if you going as an engineer, I mean, go and minor in business. Why? Can't nobody play you in a contract. Can't nobody play you in setting up. If you want to do an engineering school online or whatever, can't nobody take that from you because you learning every day, bro.
Mm.
Like you said, ownership. I'm owning the intellectual property then, meaning myself. I know what I want to do. I know I'm gonna grow. Like you said, the persistence of what you're saying, it made me think about this pimp named Rosebud Bitterdose. I know it's two totally different scenarios, but he talked about talking to women. And he said, I take 100 no's. All it's gonna take is one yes. I put my application in 500 times.
Yep.
I'm gonna get that yes.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
now we off and rolling. So it's like, and he says, always be pimping. And I understand what he means. As far as, like, I say ABP, always be productive.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm telling the youngin, always be productive, that means in your downtime, you got your phone. I could be on Instagram all goddamn night. I could be on Facebook shooting the shit all day. I can get caught up in all the conversation. That's not why I'm on there. I want a media company. You know what I'm saying? So I can promote my way of life to the world, in which I want to bring to the world, not what the world bring to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that definition alone of you saying ownership, it mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it means someone I see persist now. Because if I got the hat on and I see you represent like how you represent, I'm gonna be persistent. I'm gonna be persistent like a gnat.
Yeah, it says, and that's why I love persistence, man. I love persist. I got my book. My latest book is called Persist. How to beat the things that make us quit. And I got the Persist Institute, man, where I do do the online mastermind with folks. I coach people month to month on how to persist, how to keep going after their goals. And that work kind of bubbled out of my work as a physician, because when I was in the room, it started off in surgery. Surgery was, the patient would sleep most of the time I was dealing with them, because we're doing the surgery. The patient sleep. You don't get to talk to them. And in surgery, the less you talk to the patient, it's almost kind of the better, because if they don't call you, then you did your job. Like, like if they don't have any complications, like if they forgot you, that's the best, because you did your job. You changed their life, or whatever. And so it went from, operating on a patient that was asleep to becoming a flight surgeon in the Air Force and taking care of pilots, where it was more of a kind of a conversation when I was, you know, talking to them and trying to build a rapport with them. Because in the Air Force, I had to assess a pilot's ability to fly. So I had to really get into a pilot's head, because if something was going on with him, I had to make sure that he was mentally okay to go do what he wanted, what we needed him to do in the plane, right?
The aircraft
so
ain't dealing with,
right, and if he's dealing with something, or if he's distracted, and we got him on a mission, and a lot of the stuff we do in the Air Force is no fail, man. Like, you can't fail. Like, if you fail, you know,
some people
you can't fail. It's no, you hit your targets. That's what you do. And so, you know, it was part of my job to assess the pilot's mental capacity to be where he needed to be to execute the mission. And so it went from seeing patients that were asleep most of the time operating to now dealing with pilots and trying to build rapport so they can tell me the truth, because they know what I'm doing. They know I'm there to assess their ability to fly. So, you know, at first it started off with
psychology too.
Oh yeah, it's huge. That's where I'm going. And so at first it was like, hey doc, you know, how you doing? I meet with the pilot. I'd be like, hey, how things are going? It was like, I'm doing great. I feel amazing. There's nothing. I ain't never felt this good in my life. You know, like at first it started out like that. And then I learned how to build rapport with a person. I learned how to let them know I was on their team. And, you know, I wasn't just trying to take them down, you know, and all this stuff. And then I said, well, there's some limitations in the 30-minute visit or hour visit. And I want to go deep with somebody. I want to change their life, you know, because I could give somebody a pill, but they don't necessarily have to take it, you know. And it's like, well, why aren't you taking it? Now I got to talk about your motivation you got in your life. Now I got to talk about what taking a pill means to you. Now I got to talk about why being healthy is important to you. That's a whole nother level of work. And so that's the type of work that I do with my Persist Institute in personal development, because, you know, I found in medicine there's some limitations. And so I wanted to just go deeper with people and change people's lives at a higher level. And so with the work that I do online, my videos, my speaking, my books, my events, all that is around transforming somebody's mindset and giving them the tools so they can keep going after their dream, because it's worked for me.
Man, how you do that, bro? I was gonna ask the question, and your ass just started talking. It might do what the hell I was gonna ask. No, but another thing I see with the Persist, it reminds me of you being on defense. You were a goddamn net, man. So,
bro,
that's real. But before I even get there, a columnist. How the heck? A columnist? How, bro?
Yeah. So what I started
and top 40 under 40 Sacramento.
Man, I'm telling you, I've had some great opportunities, man. But you know, I started doing writing work. So once I wrote my first book, the first magazine I started writing for was a magazine to getting paid. Was a magazine called Live Happy. And you know, as I got into the book industry, I started to realize that people wrote for a living that weren't just book authors. They were actually journalists and columnists, and they actually freelanced and made money doing this. So, like I said, for me, I've always looked for opportunities, man. And that's why another thing, we'll just go to financial really quickly, but I make money probably 10 different ways. And so a lot of people just get money one way. I don't look at it like that. I can bring a lot of value to the world. I bring a lot of value to the world. So I said, okay, I got the skill to write. I have this optimism kind of position, demeanor when I write. Okay, let me look for opportunities where there's magazines, websites, newspapers that want my type of content. And so, you know, I went to a few conferences and actually ended up getting to meet some CEOs of a couple magazines, and I started writing for them. And then as you write for one,
another one,
other opportunities come. Somebody else hit me. So then it was like
speaking. So it was just like
it was the same. It was the same thing. It was the same thing. But the very first one is what, you know, gets it rolling. And so, you know, I hit up. I met the CEO of the magazine. I told him what I was interested in. I told him what I did. I told him that I wanted to write for him. It was a brother. I told him I wanted to write for the magazine. he put me in contact with one of the editors, one of the topper, I don't know, one of the editors at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did was I emailed her probably like 10 different ideas for stories, right? And I would just email her all these different stories. I was like, hey, what do you think about this idea? What do you think about this idea? What do you think about this idea? And she hit back like, no, I don't really like that. No, I don't really see how we can use that. No. And then it was like, oh, wait a second. I think that's a good idea.
That's that 500.
And then it was like, boom,
that's
now
that
I'm on.
500.
Right, now I'm on. And so, okay, boom, now it was writing that. And then it was the same thing every month, right? So the more content I could produce, the more money I would be able to make as a columnist, right? So that's how, I got going with that. And with the 40 under 40s, one of the things, and man, I hope people are just hearing some of the, I just want to just teach so much. But another thing with the 40 under 40, I think when I used to see 40 under 40, I used to think all those people were like, nominated by a gazillion people. Bro, I nominated myself. Okay, I nominated myself, and I never even thought that I could even do that. Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even think it was a possibility. But I'm like, I gotta vote. I'm gonna vote for myself. I nominated myself. I'm like, look, I'm looking at the list of these 40 under 40, and I'm like, okay, what this dude do? What this dude do? I'm like, you know what? I'm here. I'm in the city. I'm gonna nominate myself. I'm gonna let you see me. I want you to see me. If y'all on the committee trying to figure out who's gonna get an award to, I want you to see Clarence Lee Jr. up in there. See Dr. Lee in there. You might not pick me, but I want you to see me. Yeah. You need to see me.
So I nominated myself, man.
I nominated myself, bro.
That's cold, bro.
And yeah, they gave me one of the awards, man. So
dang. Hey man, this the last question.
Yeah, man.
And it ain't even a damn question. How about that? All right, I'm gonna take you back. I gotta take you back because I said defense, so that you should have known where the hell I was going. Man, I'm at White Station High School, Memphis, Tennessee. I walk in the gym. In my mind frame, I'm persistent. Like, hey, they don't know who I am. The only person that is two people three: Ishmael Joyce, Marcus Maples, and Marcus Lee. They know who the hell I am. I don't give a damn who on the court. I'm guarding every goddamn body. I don't 1, 2, and 3. I don't care. You know what I mean? And I'm like, my transition was going from East High School to Germantown my senior year. Cause I, like something in me was just like, I just wanted the opportunity to play. I felt like I own that right because I feel like so much was stripped and so much was taken to where I don't feel like I moved at a time when I should. But it's like I still respect it because I feel like I started something in Germantown that I learned from East on having persistence and drive to where it's like there wasn't a program that was dedicated on working out. You know what I'm saying? But at White Station, I knew we was about to win that damn game. In my heart of hearts. But them fucking White Station Sparks was like, hell no. Then look, my homeboy Reggie was like, I don't know who this dude is, but he sure is super. He guarded every goddamn body. He all over the court. He live. He almost helped them win the game. I'm like, God, I'm probably the only one hot. And you know what I'm saying? Then we play at Germantown. Man, did y'all run a fucking box to one on me, bro? I knew something was saying. I know. Like I always respected Coach. You know what I'm saying? Like as being a thinker on the level of Mike Krzyzewski, bro. Like he actually had a consistent program, just like Coach Mosby had a consistent program.
Right.
He was a tough coach. You know what I'm saying? He instilled a lot in me to this day it still exists. You know what I'm saying?
I remember because I didn't make East team, so I didn't get to White Station until I left in the 10th. All that stuff happened. I left in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
So and I tried out for the JV 8th grade. I didn't make it. I tried out for the high school 9th grade. I didn't make it. So I had this you know, and plus East had some hoopers, man. I mean, you just got to keep it real. Like they was cold, you know. So I mean, dudes was, the stuff I saw in the gym at East was it was whole nother level. If we were in another region, that's why I tell people too with high school sports, it's very regional, man. Like Memphis was a hooping town. That's high level. And so I'm going from East. I didn't make the team, and so I'm working the whole summer. And but you know, I think you know coming through there and being with that talent, you know, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about you know just being that dog, man. Just having that dog in you. You know what I mean? And knowing that the next dude's gonna try to give everything too. And so it just taught me a ton, man. But I remember, bro. This is my high school story. When I remember, I remember my senior year. We got to play East in like the city. It was like the city championship or something. I don't know if you remember that game.
No, I wanted East. I just told Titus that. I said, I sat on y'all ass on East High School. I said the only thing was, man, we lost to Central the game before that. I ain't scored shit. I was mad. I was so hurt. I was hurt, but it was like, you know what I'm saying? I played. But what was you saying though about East? Yeah, I played them.
So
I think I pulled up to that game.
So East came through White Station my senior year. We hadn't played them. I've been at White Station 3 years now, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. So I'm basically salivating at the mouth, waiting for the opportunity. And you know, cause I'm like, you gonna see me. So I know coach over there. I'm like, oh yeah,
you gonna see
2 years. Yeah. 2 years.
I got cut.
I've been waiting for 5 years for this game, dog. And it was one of my best games. It was one of my absolute best games. You know, and it was just one of my best games, man. But I think, you know, one of the things that taught me and me being able to perform in that game, I think I hit 20 points I hit 20 in a row in that game.
I believe.
And I'm not exaggerating. In a row. It was. I was so like, but what it taught me was that like that obsession, because a lot of people talk about obsessions. I talk about persistence. But it was something that when you want something so bad and you just not willing, and my mindset was always that like I should have been on the team. I should have been on the team. And then I was good enough. I'm good enough. And it was like, I'm gonna work. And now it was like, I'm gonna show you. And so in you know, in the world, and it's not always like chip on your shoulder, but I do have a little chip on my shoulder because of what I've been through. But at the end of the day, I feel like all of us, it's like we have to show the world what we're capable of. And if you're telling yourself that the world is not ready, or you're telling yourself that there's situations in the world that's going to keep you from really flourishing, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Like, just make it happen, man. And so for me, it was, that was one of my that's one of my best memories, man, being able to knock them out.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, bitch, you got beat, bitch. Yeah, I feel you.
I know. I'm like,
I know the feeling.
You created something, you know. So I was excited, man.
So last thing before we shut down,
I've enjoyed this, man. We got to do this more, man. Thank you for the opportunity too.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit after too, because I see some things that I need from you, and I want to get involved with. But first, give me a maybe a personal quote that you have that you live by, or just a quote that you live by. You know what I'm saying? One or the other. It's on you.
I was thinking too, and I'll tell you the one that I always tell people is, you know, is dream big and don't give up too early. I think giving up is what hurts a lot of people, and so we all start off dreaming big, but you know, I encourage people, don't give up too early. And then the second thing is whatever you do, go all in. Like, go all in. And the reason why I say go all in is because many people they throttle back before they go all in, because at a point you're gonna start looking crazy. Like if you really go all in, if you worried about what everybody else thinks, it might keep you from going all in. So, you know, that's the question that I tell people is you know, go all in, man. You got to give yourself the best opportunity to win. So if you holding anything back, you holding yourself back, give it everything that you got, and then see what happens.
Yeah.
But don't have it where you got to come back years later and be like, man, I didn't give it everything and it didn't work out, and be wishing you had. Like, go
Woulda, coulda,
all
shoulda.
in. Go
Woulda,
all
coulda,
in.
shoulda. I feel you. So, last thing, man, tell the people where they can find you. Just whether it's Facebook, Instagram. I don't know if you got a TikTok. I know the, I know the kids be on TikTok like a mother.
Right.
But
no TikTok yet. Yeah. So my website, my main website, my central hub is ClarenceLeeJr.com. Just ClarenceLeeJr.com, and from there you can branch off and see everything I'm doing with my company. But you know, Persist. So I've got my books on my website. You can get my books. But right now, my membership program is really what I'm pushing, and I'm really passionate about. And that's the Persist Institute. So if anyone's interested in, you know, getting coached by me, joining a mastermind of people that are trying to live their dreams, I've got little groups of people trying to do different things. I got authors, I got speakers, you know, I've got influencers that I'm working with. PersistInstitute.com, and join in with the group and get trained and coached by me. But those are the two. So my main hub, ClarenceLeeJr.com, and all the social medias, I'm at Dr. Clarence Lee Jr. on all the social medias except for TikTok. With everything else, YouTube, Twitter, Snap, you know, Snapchat, all those at Dr. Clarence Lee Jr.
Yo, hey man, it's been a pleasure, bro. I've been looking forward to this.
Me too, man.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud to say, man, like I had a chance to live through you in certain moments of seeing, like, hey man, dude went to White Station and was killing. Even just looking, you know what I'm saying, looking in the paper and things of that nature. And even now to see, I was like, I happened to be on Facebook at the time the other day, and I'm like, man, boop. And he was just about to get off. And that's where that one question about the financial freedom came. You know, I was like,
yeah,
he like dude been grinding, he been on it. And now I understand more of what you meant by persistence. And not just what you meant by it, I see it in motion. I see it in spirit. I see it lived out. So hey man, we gonna do another one. I already know it's a part 2 coming. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, get ready. I'm gonna stay on, man.
All right.
Man, this is Art of Architect of More Than Haircut podcast. I'm out.